Last thing I would say, TorontoTokyo, you rated Soju 5th. What's up with that?
Okay, this is the thing. I believe in Soju so much, and I know I think he's not going to stream this tournament. And I genuinely believe if Soju is locked in, like, he is a top 5 NA player. Like, no cap. The problem is, when you watch him stream, he is playing for so much content, it's not even funny. Like, he'll just randomly click, like, Conjure Emblem when he has 20 gold. And then he'll just go, wait. I played a game where he was playing mages, and he just had a Warrior Emblem because he conjured an emblem for no reason. So, yeah, it was just, yeah.
All right, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Don't Talk If You Don't Know, the official podcast dedicated to covering all things high-level teamfight tactics. And today is September 18th, 2024. We're back for another episode where we're previewing the Tactician's Cup number 2, which brings us to the midway point of Set 12 Magic and Mayhem. My name's Frodan. I'm your host, as always, and I'm back with Bryce Blum, who rejoins the cast. Hello, Bryce. Good to have you back.
Oh, hello, Dan. Hello, Chad. I've missed you all. This is great. It is good to be here.
When was the last time we had you on? Was it the end of the set?
It would have been end of set 11, right? Because I was traveling. I was traveling for both of the first 2 episodes. So yeah, it's been way too long. But it is good to be back. Feels like I'm coming home.
All right. Well, we'll catch up in a little bit, but in the meantime, we want to welcome our guests for today. And instead of having him join the podcast afterwards, because he's done like really well in tournament, for the first time, we're having Filup join for the preview. So welcome back to the show, Filup.
Yeah, what's up? Thanks for having me. Excited to smoke you guys in this fantasy draft finally.
Okay.
Wow.
Simmer down.
So wait, out of curiosity, just so we're on the record, do you think you actually will? Like, I'm down to shit talk, but the question is, can you back it up?
Yeah, you guys stink.
Okay.
Free as fuck.
Okay. All right. I mean, this guy hits rank 1 for what, 2 sets now, and his ego just gets massive. It's crazy.
You know what? I love that. I'm here for that. It's gonna make kicking his ass in fantasy like so much more fun for sure.
Filup, you've been having a great set so far. Obviously, you won the Tactician's Cup in the previous set, but you're also kind of keeping that momentum. How has set 12 been treating you so far?
I think it's like I feel some of the best I've ever felt. And that's sort of reflected in like my ladder stats, but not really my my tournament performance. So hopefully, Tactician's Cup 2 goes better. And it's also like the first time I'm on track to qualify to regionals through ladder snaps. So I mean, that's pretty chill.
Yeah, that's a big step up. And the spots opened up, right, with Dish Soap not going for that, and I think Weijin said he wasn't going for it. So that's right. That's fruit ripe for the picking, and I'm glad that you're capitalizing on that.
So, Filup, Dan made a really interesting comment to me when we were prepping for the show yesterday. He described you as making the leap, which is something that Dan and I talk about a lot, and very few people actually ever really pull it off. There are so many people who've existed at the tier that you were at, like set 11, set 10, for a long time and never really broken through into like the TFT elite of NA. So the fact that he thinks that you have made it or in the process of making it's a really big deal. Do you agree with that assessment? Like, do you feel like your play is different this set relative to previous sets?
I don't really know what like the leap is. I feel like I've been like improving as a competitor pretty much every set I've played. And like I think that's like a little bit reflected in my like competitive performances, my ladder performances. I wouldn't say there's like large differences between like the set and last set, and like it's just like a gradual improvement over time, I think, rather than any like large leap.
I mean, that is a leap in itself, in my opinion. I think a lot of people stagnate and they end up kind of making marginal gains, and maybe they take a step back. If you're able to find ways to continue to improve, that in itself is already a significant development.
Yeah, I guess what I would say for the leap, at least the way I think about it, is it's really 2 things. Like one of them is consistency, like being able to play at a level where you maintain edge over really good people for a long period of time is hard, and a lot of people can't do that. And then the other thing is being able to find edge against the best, like being able to be in a lobby with folks like Dish Soap and Setsuko and Replay and Weijin and be able to still like beat them in stuff is really hard to actually find edge against those guys. So if you can do those 2 things, I that's how I would think about the leap.
Okay, and Bryce is already dropping hot doses of glaze. He also leaked our private conversations before the show, so we're off to a good start here. I was expecting you to leak my thoughts about Filup. Okay.
Okay.
In the meantime,
I thought it was good framing.
it is. It's great framing. It's good to have you back. We have a second guest. He's not here just to look pretty. It's TorontoTokyo, who we haven't had. I think we had on one time in the past. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. It was a long time. I think this is during set 9, so it's a long time ago now.
Okay,
yeah.
It's good to have you back, man. And this time for a preview instead of kind of talking about it. You've had a really, really interesting arc in TFT as well, kind of having high highs, making it to the World Championship, and even soaring in terms of being one of the points leader going into day 2. And then also kind of being like this mysterious, shadowy figure to people who don't really, because you don't stream, you don't even have a Twitter account. You don't have any social media, so like people don't really know. And then all of a sudden you show up in EWC teaming with Soju and Milk and everything like that. So it's a really you're a very mysterious figure to most TFT fans.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to say to that, but I appreciate the comments. I just love playing TFT. I don't really like being a public figure in general. That's why I don't like streaming or having like social media. I just feel like, because I used to be a StarCraft player, and I feel like when you're in the public, like you just have to face like all these like negative comments all the time, and it just like, I feel like the positive side isn't really that great for me, because like the positive comments don't lift me up, but then like the negative comments like just bring you down. So it's just like, for me, it's like a risk-reward analysis. I just don't really like it that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think that? Why do the positive comments not lift you up out of curiosity?
I guess I was just saying, I feel like I'm relatively indifferent between the two. Like, I don't think the negative comments really bring me down. It's just I for whatever reason, I don't really feel like that validated from the comments. So I just, it's just like a lot of effort I think for me is like a minimal return. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Okay. I'm about to ask the really hard question, if that's okay.
Okay, go
you
ahead.
named yourself TorontoTokyo, and now you've kind of developed a name in TFT. So now, are you sticking with TorontoTokyo? Because that's going to create some continual confusion. And if not, then what would you change your name to?
Okay, it's a live on the podcast renaming.
No,
Three ideas, chat votes, everybody wins.
I think it's so funny now, and I don't really care about having like a specific name. It was just like when I used to be a sports bettor, like I just had to constantly change my name because I wanted to stay anonymous. I didn't want people like follow what I was doing. So then it was just like I had this thing where I would always copy like pro players' names, and like that would be my name of the week or whatever. And then now that I just happen to gain like some traction behind this name, I just feel like it's just too funny because people always ask like, "Is this a Dota 2 TorontoTokyo?" And then like even the Riot official Twitter like posted a picture of the Dota 2 TorontoTokyo.
I mean, shit, at this point, I bet you there's
pretty
at least 10 people in chat right now that thought to themselves, "Wow, he played StarCraft, Dota, and TFT. This guy's a
oh my god, amazing! He's a multi-talented gamer." I'm down for you to change your name again somewhere in the middle as well to another pro name and just continue this like funny like impersonation. This guy's just a doppelganger for all the top esports pros. I love it.
Okay, wait. Completely sidetracking this conversation for 1 minute. What's the best sports bet you ever made in your career as a sports bettor?
Oh, okay. I actually know exactly what it is.
Yes.
So there was a Dota 2 major, and it was Virtus Pro against LGD. So it was the two best so the best Chinese team against the best Polish team or best European team. And what happened was about an hour before the match, the Virtus Pro captain got food sick because they were in China, and they had to sub in their coach. And then the line started moving super, super heavy in favor of China because they were playing with their coach. And like there was a reputation around their captain that he was like kind of the brains of the team. And like without him, like the team like can't function. Mm-hmm. But I guess the way I thought about it is like when you're playing like a really, really high end like team sports, like everybody, you don't need like a captain to like literally like babysit you most of the time. Like every single player has to be intellectual to like function at like a really high level. So I guess I just thought that it was too overrated that like they were playing with their coach. Like I think that they could win 45 basically, and they actually won. But the odds, I went from 50-50 to like 80-20 or something like that, and I still thought it was like a 50-50 because I thought the European team was better anyways. And then they ended up winning 2-0.
So did you have conviction on this? Did you like slam the other side?
Oh yeah. This is all, and the reason why I feel so happy is because it was one of the first like my breakout bets where like
nice.
I really I saw it as such a great opportunity that I basically just 10x my bet sizing, and I really wasn't sure. I was just praying that I was right.
Oh my
thesis.
God, that's great.
Did you feel really smart afterwards? Big pats on the back.
I did. I mean, you never know for sure because sometimes it can just completely go to shit, and then you just get 0-2 and you're I'm the biggest idiot ever. But I just have a really strong gut intuition, and I've been doing it for so long that I feel you just learn to trust your intuition at that point.
That's
so yeah,
sick. I love that.
It feels really nice. It is one of the most gratifying bets ever made for sure.
Okay,
That
I'm really
is
glad I
so
asked. That's a great story.
fascinating because I feel like that's also reflective in your TFT play. I feel like you're a person that has a read, and if you're on it, it is dead on. But then if you're off, you're day one in Tactician's trial.
That's so true. It's actually so true. Yeah.
No, it's actually really funny how you carry over some of that personality to TFT.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
What
fun
was
to
the
live
last?
in that
It was
memory.
Senna reroll, the Ink Shadow Senna reroll. You love that con.
I did. And then I went Astro 8s both times I played it, and then everybody who listened to me that played it also went Astro 8. So,
Hey, at least you took some people down with you.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry.
All good,
Sorry.
all good. All right. Let's hop into the episode and talk about some of the stuff. First of all, we do news to catch up. So the first is probably just breaking down this insane patch. There's been a lot of people who talked about their opinions on the general patch here. So we've had a bunch of trait fixes, a bunch of units being changed and reworked. We had a bunch of item rebalancing, augment rebalancing, and then there's a bunch of bugs that happened in the game. Things like a tie bug that would literally stall out until both players lost. If you tie, you basically both take damage. And then that would create some really bad scenarios where if you're at one life, you end up dying. This ended up being a problem, actually, in tournament this past weekend at Tactician's Trials. That being said, they bug fixed some of that. And so they did a little bit of a hotfix ad. They did a B patch buffing some of the weaker stuff. And so now we landed to where we are now about a week later on one of the biggest patches, if not the biggest patch in TFT history. So I kind of want to get people's vibes on this. Let's start off with Filup. How do you feel about the patch? Do you like 1418B, and do you feel like it's generally a good thing for the set so far?
Yeah, I think this patch and the last patch, I feel like the balancing has actually been pretty good overall, with the outlier last patch being hero offense and the outlier this patch I think being all of the bugs. And then there's some stuff that's a little overtuned, some chase traits are too easy to hit, and there's 5 fairy Callista's probably a little bit overtuned, but in general I feel like the balance is in a pretty good spot right now. Every 4 cost is pretty playable, every 5 cost is pretty playable in the right spots. So
Okay. And we're okay with hero. A lot of people said that the big thing is that it feels like it's bad that hero augments are so in the gutter right now. But Bryce is not saying that though. Bryce is okay with
I
that.
mean, didn't we literally have this conversation 3 months ago, and then we had the conversation 8 months before that, and isn't this what will always happen with hero augments? You can't enter brand new design space for champions in this way and not swing really hard the pendulum one way at one point and then swing it back the other way. So it either basically stays useless or it's broken for some period of time. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's gear and it's broken a whole set, and sometimes it's something else and it's broken for a short period. But
maybe I don't think anyone's really complaining about Rumble, but it's decent.
Yeah, but there's always going to be something that falls in. It's just, can you get it right this many times? I don't see how they possibly could. It's too hard.
Oh, so you're saying there's just too many of them?
It's just too complicated in the way it interacts with sets. It's not that there are too many. It's just if you do that many, at some point, a bunch of them are going to be just ridiculously overtuned. And every once in a while, you're going to have a patch like last one where it's they're all overtuned, basically, and just feels horrible.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Toronto, how do you feel about the patch?
Yeah, I think the patch is good. I think the units feel relatively well balanced. I think the plus ones are a little bit too strong. I think one thing that the problem that TFT has is you want to feel when you hit 9 fairy, it really feels like it's worth the effort to get it. And before 9 fairy was just you hit it and you're super underwhelmed. It doesn't meet your expectations. I think Mordog talked about that before. But the problem with this set is that when you have 1+1, all you need is 1 conjure spat or something like that, and then all of a sudden you're teleported to the prismatic trait. So I think that's why they made the chase traits bad to begin with. But then they just made the chase traits really good. And then now you start with Frost +1, and I feel like you have so many outs to just automatically win the game, like later on.
Yeah, and they introduced more like spatulas, just straight up the amount of them in the game, like either through the charms, like you have double the chance of seeing something like a frying pan into a spatula, or even just getting it off of a portal, right? There's just more portals related to that. So it just feels like they're added, it just feels like an influx of it. And then on stage 5, Carousel rolls around, you see like a fairy and a frost emblem and a portal emblem, and you're just trying to play a humble game of like karma, you know? Like what just get me out. It feels like that's like the biggest pain point of the patch.
Yeah, I agreed.
Okay.
It's also like trainer golems, like, you know, what it should be is like you play around like your traits and stuff like that. But right now it's like if you load into trainer golems, it's whoever hits the chase trait like off their augment, they just automatically win the game. And then it really doesn't matter how much you play around your trainer. You're just like praying that you get craftable emblems so you can play for that win condition.
Yeah,
is what.
Yeah, it's the same thing with like with flexible and hard commit, right? Is you're just like on your hands and knees, like praying that you get one of like the easy like +2s to hit, and then like you hit it, you just win the game. If not, like I mean, like your AVP is just so much lower because like yeah, I mean it's not really in your control.
Yep, agreed. And I think that is a dynamic that I mean, it's just going to continue to exist until Riot chooses to swing the other way. But for now, I do agree that, like, generally it's a pretty good patch. Actually, it's really funny. Today I was watching Soju stream, and he was doing his usual thing of running it down in triple digits. But, like, as he played his game where he bot forward into, like, 999 LP, he was actually saying that he thinks the patch is really good, despite the fact that he was, like, going bot 4. So I think that's actually good. One, it's not really a usual thing that he says after he goes to triple digits, but I agree. Okay, so I won't ask you guys to leak too much because usually when we dive more into it, but there's a lot of I do think there's a lot of opinions on the patch. I think a lot of people are debating on like, do they want to play around Rise or do they want to play around Karma? Varus is now starting to become more popular. I'm not going to pry you guys for that, so we can just put that pin in it for now. But we do have a lot of other news to cover. So the first one is probably one of the biggest news to happen in competitive in quite some time. And that is that Setsuko was banned from competitive TFT competitions until November 2024. And I know we kind of talked about this independently. Like I've talked about it on my stream. Bryce has come onto my stream to talk about it. You guys have probably talked about it in your friend circles. But I do feel like there's no actual show covering this, so we should probably start from the very top. For people who don't know, there's been kind of like an ongoing feud between Setsuko and other regions for the most part, but like specifically the Brazilian scene, largely due to the merge from North America, Latin, and Brazil, has been creating very toxic dynamics where it feels like a lot of top NA players are just kind of taking a lot of pot shots to playing against weaker regions. And so it kind of created some animosity between Brazil and Setsuko in particular because they take a lot of pride. And at one point, Setsuko was doing his usual thing where he's just ranting in a tongue-in-cheek, jokey, but maybe not so jokey way. He was like flaming the quality of the players. And then he got into a little bit of a Twitter feud where he started making fun of Brazil's. You know, he typed like 7-1 GG, which is like a reference to when Brazil took a really embarrassing football loss by a score of 7-1, I believe it was to Germany. And then that started like having the Brazilian community like really pissed. So they started like harassing him. And anytime Setsuko was like bot foring in tournament, he was getting harassed by the Brazilian fans. Fast forward and got to the point where Setsuko said a lot of really not okay language on stream and was very, very toxic towards the Brazilian fans who were very toxic to him as well, right? There's a little bit of, it's not like it was a one-sided affair. But some seemingly out of nowhere, Riot decided to step in and ban Setsuko for the rest of the set and cite that he violated 3 codes of conduct. And Setsuko tweeted this in response, which he posted on his X. Got banned for a set, probably still going to stream solo queue. My bad, though. Next time, I'll just blatantly win trade in Worlds and get fined instead. Laughing while crying emoji, laughing while crying emoji. So there's a lot to break down here. I kind of want to start off once again with Bryce just to set the tone, since Bryce already kind of had a lot of words on my stream. But you're also a lawyer and you've worked on these kinds of like legal things. So what are your thoughts on the situation?
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on the situation. In no particular order, I think that he deserved to be punished. I think that he crossed the line. I don't think anyone has... I've yet to hear anyone who thinks that's not the case, including him, right? He isn't being as kind of publicly contrite as I think he ought to be, but he definitely acknowledges that he did wrong here. And so I think it was correct for him to be punished. Frankly, I think he got off light. I think if a Valorant or League of Legends player did literally exactly what he did, I think they'd be banned for at least a year. I think there's like more precedent of kind of behavioral influence within those scenes. They're bigger, they've been higher stakes. And I think there's a reality to this, which is that TFT might have been born as like a random side project game mode, but now it's one of the most successful video games in the world from a player base and from a monetization perspective. The stakes here are way higher than they were when we first started doing this stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense that Riot stepped in here. I hope that he learns his lesson and like, fine if he wants to lean into a toxic persona on stream, but there are lines still and he shouldn't be crossing them. And I think people who are anyone who's defended him, it's kind of disgusting, to be honest. And this whole obfuscation of the actual issue by talking about the win trade, like he's even doing in his tweet. It's so bad. This is like such terrible whataboutism. Like whether or not someone was appropriately punished for an entirely unrelated competitive integrity issue has absolutely nothing to do with whether or not the punishment for Setsuko in the situation was deserved and whether or not the length of it was appropriate. First of all, a lot of people were talking about that situation, the competitive integrity thing, where they don't even really know. Like, there's a lot that went into it. My understanding is that Riot investigated and ultimately could not reach the conclusion that it did happen, basically, right? Like, obviously there was behavior, there was questions as relates to the motivation, and like actually linking it back to threats to competitive integrity. And even if that wasn't the case, then fine, then you're arguing that he should have been punished for longer, but that doesn't mean Setsuko shouldn't have been punished. So yeah, I don't know. I thought the public narrative on this was pretty mind-numbing for me. I found it kind of appalling how many people were like defending behavior and engaging in this like misdirection as it relates to this other unrelated issue. So yeah, I mean, obviously we talked about it before. That's like my high level thoughts. So I could obviously go deeper. I'm still hopeful. I'm hopeful that he's going to spend time and reflect and come out and like give a proper apology here and like actually course correct. I've always liked Setsuko. I've always found him to be a different person kind of behind the scenes, and I've always try to support him. So I'm not like abandoning him over this, but I worry that this is going to spiral into a bad direction.
Okay. And that's a pretty common take overall. I guess I'm curious. And you guys can just say no comment if you don't feel like it, or just like nothing to add. So don't feel pressure to have to say anything. It's just more about talking about the situation. So Filup, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Bryce in that, like, I mean, the public discourse about this is just so off base. Because, like, I mean, if you even look at, like, what, like, Setsuko's friends are saying, they're basically saying, like, hey, like, they all deserve, like, Setsuko deserves, like, some sort of punishment. They just sort of disagree on the magnitude. And, I mean, like, in sort of, like, defense of that take, I think Riot is really inconsistent with handing out punishments or whether they, like, decide to, like, punish at all. Where, like, I mean, like, fines are, like, basically, like, not a punishment in TFT. And like a full set ban is like, it's like the minimum meaningful punishment, you know, like, or, like, you know, they don't really ban for just like cups or something, which is like, I don't know, maybe something they could do to like partially escalate. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I mean, I think in general it's just like, I mean, like the Twitter discourse is literally just terrible. Like nobody understands what they're talking about. Everybody's just like getting their opinions from Twitch chat is awful.
Okay. I do want to say one thing. I think the idea that fines aren't actually punishing, or like it is actually, it may be true for a select few people, but for a lot of others, it's actually pretty meaningful. There are some TFT players. So like I was talking to Maiko, for example. He was like telling me how the average salary that they get in Chile is like in the hundreds of dollars. So $1,000 fine is like a really big deal for like some people in other parts of the world. But to Setsuko and to other people, especially like around the popular streamer level in the Americas, probably not anything more than just a minor inconvenience. So I just do want to clarify that. I think that's what Filup is mainly addressing. Toronto, any thoughts about Setsuko's ban here?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about like a really good like calibrated response. I guess what I'll say first off is that he absolutely deserves some sort of punishment. Like what he said isn't good. It's definitely not good from a public figure of any public figure. They have higher expectations than like a Twitch chatter. I will say though that I mean, Setsuko is a League player. I feel like he acts like a League player. Like, I mean, a lot of us that play TFT, we were raised like by video games. I don't think he goes around on a day-to-day basis like calling people poor and like he makes like way more money than them or like flaming them for being like the R word or whatever. But he also like, I guess the context is that like, you know, he just bought Forza game. His Twitch chat is flaming him from, you know, the Brazilian side from his perspective. And then he retaliates like how I think like a normal, like most online video gamers do. I don't think he's like evil for, like, I don't think he's actively, you know, it's just, I guess it's hard for me to phrase it. I just don't think he's like, from his perspective, it's just like a common gamer conversation where it's like, you know, they flame him, he flames them. You know, I don't think he takes it any more seriously than that. So I don't think he's like a bad person because of that. It's just like you can't do that when you're a public figure with like 7,000 streamers playing like a Riot video game, especially because they've shown that they'll punish that.
Okay.
So I guess that's my thought process on it. I know this is what aboutism, but I guess I need some clarification. Like the world players did receive a punishment for what they did. So is that not acknowledging that they did something wrong? Or
I think they found them guilty of basically a lesser infraction is how I would describe it. So they found that they did something wrong, but not that their behavior threatened the integrity of the event. That's my understanding. I didn't go super deep. Is that about an
yeah, so the actual, because we did obviously raise this to Riot. It wasn't just us yelling on Twitter. And I believe what it is that they can't definitively prove that it was like win trading because one, no one's going to admit to that even if they were, and two, it's like it is circumstantial evidence, but there's like you just can't do that without actual clear like evidence. Otherwise, anything from like chat logs to anything like, you know, things that are like very damning to it. But they can punish them under the rules of them clearly not playing their best, and I think that's where it is. And I don't know, like, because that rule in itself is also quite vague in itself because that's interpretation. And if Filup queues up Fortune and messes up his Fortune cash out, and that incidentally lets someone else, like one of his buddies, get a free win, and that buddy goes through, should Filup get fined? Maybe not, probably not. I mean, TFT is a hard game, right? So there's a lot of this like weird gray area that I think Riot honestly backed themselves into a corner because I think they didn't actually anticipate this being like a real issue. I think it's actually just a lack of foresight of not actually recognizing that this could be a problem, even though it has been a problem. The one thing I have with Riot is that this has been actually a thing since like set 4. I think that it's sort of kind of like what's the saying? The chickens come home to roost or whatever. It's like this has been something that's been happening for years. And I personally think that they walked into the situation because they didn't punish it earlier. And so I think a lot of Chinese players like think it's like okay / encouraged / like normal. And so they kind of have to like ban half the scene or punish half the scene, which is also not a good look either. It's just really messy, I think. So I think they took like the least controversial route, which I don't know if was the right choice.
And to be clear, I think it's a super valid opinion to say you think that should have been punished more.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
I think that's a really valid opinion. I just think that's divorced from whether or not Setsuko's punishment was appropriate, personally. I think that when you look at this stuff, there's really separate spectrums. Like, there's, like, integrity-related stuff is kind of unrelated to just pure behavioral stuff in a lot of ways. And if anything, my instinct is that the integrity stuff is worse and should be punished more severely than just a flat behavioral thing, right? So, like, sure, we should seriously reevaluate the way we're looking at integrity issues and punish more, but that doesn't mean that Setsuko should be less than what it was.
That's right. And then some people are bringing up the other things like, what about someone like Tyler 1's toxic behavior in the past? And again, that's exactly what we're talking about, which is that is whataboutism. That is, first of all, it's like a different person in a different game. Yes, it's under the same company, but they're just basically tied in by name. The people who run League and esports and their coach team stuff is completely removed from TFT. And I say we set the bar higher than like allowing someone like than Tyler One's very, very toxic path.
Yeah, and I was going to make the exact point that Mandela just made in chat, which is Tyler One was banned for a really long time. Like he had extensive punishment by both Riot and Twitch, and people forget that he actually wasn't that successful of a streamer. I mean, he had a meaningful audience, but he got dramatically bigger in the wake of his comeback. So it kind of like weirdly helped his career, and now he's like part of, does Riot co-streams, and he's been part of multiple LCS finals and shit. Like he's they fully embraced him. I think part of that is a belief that people can change. That's why I think Setsuko crossed the line, but I completely agree with what TorontoTokyo was saying. I do not think he is a bad human being. I don't think he's an evil human being. I don't think there was necessarily maliciousness in any of his conduct. He crossed the line, so he should be punished.
I mean, part of the difficulty of that final part was that it does seem clear that he doesn't show remorse.
Yeah, I agree,
and that he's like doubling down, tripling down. At this point, I think he's quadrupled down. So that's where I think some people take issues, right? When people keep defending, it seems like a lot of people in TFT are eager to defend his character. And I know Setsuko personally, and I know exactly what you're talking about. But I just want to talk about like other people who are very skeptical about what you guys are saying. Do have good cause to believe that.
Sure.
And I'm trying to be objective here because people accuse me of being biased and being Setsuko's friend.
It's almost hard for me because like I think there's two sides of it. I think it's like if you have played video games for the last 15 years, like the culture online versus the culture in like a real life like office environment is so different, and like how like you need to treat people in real life. Like I think Setsuko is just born of the online culture, and like the online culture isn't a good thing at all. Yeah. But it's just more standard there than it is in real life. Where it's just
this is their attempt to course correct that on some level, right?
Yeah.
And to be clear, it's a pitiful attempt, and online gaming spaces are outrageously toxic. Even TFT, which I think is really positive overall community in this regard, is still at least somewhat toxic, right? And a lot of other spaces like League of Legends are much, much worse. And that's just been normalized, right? Like you said, you were raised on it 15 years, and just it was like that no matter what game you played, basically, right? That's just part of the culture. That's fucking horrible.
Yeah,
that's so bad. Like, can we all just agree that's terrible and that it's embarrassing how little gaming companies have done to try to combat this? And if anyone out there is listening, please, we'd like for you to start now. Like,
I mean, it's so idealistic to say so, though. It's like really hard because that kind of stuff is one, very difficult to do, and two, like an immense amount of resource invested for something that is not very successful. And I mean, other games like Valorant has a huge problem with this. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's definitely like a little bit of an adjacent, like a different topic entirely. I will say one thing, which is I just think that Setsuko needs to realize and conduct himself differently when he recognizes that that's the avenue. Like he's on stream, clearly being provoked. I mean, if we're not necessarily policing athletes for how they trash talk each other on the field. I don't know if you guys listen to ever the comms of the NBA players on the court. They say some pretty awful shit, man. Like they're saying like a bunch of slurs and nasty stuff all the time to each other. And I, that's not to defend what is going on. I'm just saying like like even if he thinks he's doing that, he has to be much more aware of the circumstances of what's going on. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's a good point. I agree with that completely.
Yeah, exactly. Don't have to say too much more. I think most people actually kind of moved on from this. It feels like Setsuko's kind of moved on from it, but for now, the one thing I will say is I think NA suffers a lot as a reason because of this, because not only is it like obviously the tournament quality would be lower, but if Setsuko's not trying as hard, Dish Soap's kind of taking time off. Bro, I have nobody I can learn from by watching stream anymore. It's like, who do you actually learn? It's like, it's just Soju running it down, and then like, Wage doesn't stream, so it's like, what's going on, man? NA, we'll talk about it. Actually, we'll just talk about it right now. That's right. We'll talk about it. TSI. This is the TFT MSI. We had 3 world champions sent from North America, Dish Soap, Malala, Replay, all out in groups. Malala actually posted a pretty terrible scoreline. He went like 8-6, 8-8. Babzera got grouped. Michael and Relic also eliminated. 0 players from the Americas in the final lobby. Does NA just suck now? No comment.
I hope not.
I think the quality of NA competition is actually like noticeably lower as far as like ladder goes. Than like previous sets. I think because of like in large part because like Dish Soap and Setsuko aren't like do like 2K streaming every day. Like nobody has anyone to learn from. Like I think it's actually like noticeably worse this set.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Dish Soap, like a lot of the times in the past when the patch drops, he'll just like turn on the stream.
Yeah.
And then he'll be like averaging a 1.5, and then he'll basically show the blueprint to most of the like the professional players or the high level players on how to play the game. But then he doesn't do that. And one thing I've noticed is that this set, NA is insanely behind the meta, especially in comparison to China. Like, we're just 3 or 4 days behind what China is doing. Like, me and Milolo like went over some of his games that he did poorly in, and I feel like for me it just comes down to the fact that NA as an entirely, we're just too far behind. Like, it's not an execution error. It's like we just don't know what we're doing. Like, and they do, which is like a big issue right now, in my opinion.
I think we're the only region that still was not convinced about Varus at TSI. We just got completely destroyed. It's wild. I completely agree, man. I think actually it's one of the worst regions right now. Oh God. And that's not. Listen, man. People, I saw some people in like Latin, Brazil, kind of laughing and whatnot, like in different streams when I was watching. I was like, listen, man, you guys are with us. Like, we look bad, you guys look bad. So we're all in this together, man. Oh, God. Okay, anyways, this is TSI. The finals are tomorrow. It's 4 Chinese players. I will say EU looks pretty good. It's got Les Coco, who's crushing it, and Double 61, who once again makes the final lobby in a really stacked event. I mean, this guy's accolades keep climbing.
This guy.
Titles also in the final lobby. Like, we got some really good stuff going for tomorrow, so make sure you guys check that out. Speaking of other tournaments, we did a fun 2v2 tournament. You both played in it, right, Filup? You actually placed in the money, Filup, I believe.
Yeah, we got second.
Nice. How was playing in this 2v2?
I think like 2v2 as like a format is like not too much different from like 1v1, but it's kind of fun to like be with a friend. Because like as opposed to like 4v4, like in 4v4 when you grief, it like hurting the other team actively helps your team. But in 2v2, like you can just like grief each other and like both like get like sent down, you know. So it's like it's like not close to the same level of strategy as 4v4, but it's still fun to like play with a friend.
Okay.
Yeah, weird. I think 2v2 is not really very different from solo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing. Yeah.
So you would prefer 4v4 then?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think 4v4 is like the best format for TFT by a lot. I
kind of just like 1v1, like not gonna lie. But I mean, like my 4v4 experience, like we didn't do that great, so it's probably like biased. I might be like the only 4v4 like
you didn't even get to play, man. You couldn't
here.
even log on. What do you mean, my friend?
I mean, we played the second series.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, for people who don't remember, Filup team was actually, I think, one of the like dark horses, underdog favorites to actually do very well. And then Filup couldn't log on to Torment Realm in time because of some technical issues. They just DQ'd them. That was brutal. So sorry about that, man.
That sucked.
Yeah, but 4v4 is really fun, and I was telling Zane if we do run it back, maybe we'll do a 4v4 tournament because I think a lot of people do enjoy that a lot. I mean, Toronto, you were telling you just had nonstop praises for 4v4 format. I remember when at UWC.
To me, the biggest thing about 4v4, and like you don't really understand this until you play a lot of it, is that it solves a lot of the competitive issues of TFT automatically. Like all of a sudden, like griefing isn't just like a thing like, oh, I hate this guy, I'm just gonna do it, or like I'm just gonna win trade this guy, which are things that will 100% happen in TFT no matter what, because like when people are incentivized by hundreds of thousands of dollars to do something, and the only thing that's stopping them is ethics or like a $1,000 fine or whatever they got, it's like it's going to happen 100% of the time. That can't happen in 4v4. And then I think another big thing that it solves is that on game 5 and game 6 of solo TFT formats right now, like half the players are not trying at all. Like maybe like 5 or 6 players are completely eliminated from the tournament, and then you have 2 people that are playing for everything, which will never happen in 4v4 because it's like an elimination, like you either win or you lose type of format. So I think it just solves a lot of like fundamental competitive issues that TFT has been plagued by for a long time. And that's not saying like that's all aside from the team aspect of it. I think that's subjective. I think like the solving the competitive integrity issues is like the bigger part of it for me.
Man, did Milk give you his talking points? That's Right.
Yeah.
It just sounds like milk's in your ear, but yeah. I mean, well said. Well said. I look forward to 4v4. Hopefully, I will say that Riot does like 4v4. I think what they don't know is how to support it more without taking away from solos, because solos is a really big part of TFT and always will be. So it's like one of those things, because right now there's no real room for 4v4, man, if you look at the way everything is structured. So maybe you have to rethink a lot about the whole ecosystem as a whole. Speaking of the ecosystem, this is the result of the sub-regionals. This is what the tournament that leads to the Tactician's Trials. Winning and getting top 4 qualifies you to Tactician's Cup. And it's Ladder Slayer, Ginsu, Flames, and Snowfall. And I think the first thing that people are probably going to say is, I don't know who these people are, which actually brings an important question. Why are the good players not playing in sub-regionals, Filup?
I think it just like takes too long, and like the nightmare is you just like throw away your entire weekend, and then you like get out on like the last day, and like not in the money or like not in like qualification range, especially like if you're somebody like who like needs to like play for snapshots or like is like trying to play for like top 25. But yeah, I mean it's like if you look at the like Latam and like Brazil sub-regional winners, it's a lot more like I would say like established names. So I mean I don't know. I guess that's just something like NA isn't doing as much.
Yeah, I think that this is just easy low hanging fruit for I wouldn't say for necessarily players of your caliber, because I think both of you are more than capable of making snapshot. But there's a group about 20 to 30 people who it's always kind of a dice roll, like whether or not they're running hot or not. And I really expected to see a lot more of them sign up. So it is kind of surprising. But I will say that I think that might change, because sub-regionals, they are trying to make them more important. And I think that what's really fascinating is I think NA is the only region that doesn't really care much about the sub-regional. Almost every other region does. EU, Latam, Brazil, APAC, all the sub-regions, China, all their equivalent of sub-regionals, a lot of the good players like show up. NA might be the only region that doesn't. That's so interesting.
I remember before the last Tacticians Cup one, I played in like the sub-regional, got like 5th or 6th, and then I played for snapshots the entire next weekend, and then I was like 2 or like 3 out, and then like I just had to like play like the week 1 after, and I was just like so burnt out. It was just so
that's the 1, 2, 3 sub-regional missed on sub-regionals into miss on snapshots into play trials. I think you made it through trials, right? So at least there's that. Okay, well, this is the quick result of Tactician's Trials number 2, really farmed by Little Top. Actually, that second graphic is incorrect, because Milk did not play, I believe, in this one, so I apologize. But overall, we did lose some notable names. I think the biggest name that we lost was Cambulee. Cambulee is a player that usually gets power ranked, so there are a couple of upsets there. But overall, I would say most of the players that made it through, I think, were expected, and a couple of cool, pleasant surprises, which we'll talk about in a little bit. TorontoTokyo, did you watch any of Tactician's Trials by any chance, or follow it?
I mostly just watched Milala's POV when I did watch it. Okay. So yeah, I think I followed it's like 65% of it. Yeah.
What happened to Malala in your mind?
I don't think that he is like washed or anything. I genuinely think that he was not 100% on top of the meta, which I think is actually impossible to be on top of the meta when like such a large patch drops like 3 days before the tournament. So like it's one of those things where if you play like the wrong line, it doesn't really matter how well you play it. You just automatically average like a 6, and like people that go into the tournament with the right meta read, it doesn't matter how bad they play, like their worst place is like a 3 when like the meta is so fresh as it was. So I think that's what went wrong.
Okay. And yeah. Okay, got it. And I think that's not going to change. Most of the times it almost feels like Tactician's Trials is like a beta test of the patch. And then if like they need to do anything crazy, they'll patch it perhaps for the next week, but for the most part, it feels like the biggest reason to make snapshots is to avoid trials, so you don't have to do the patch dice roll, which is really, really brutal.
Yeah, it's actually really hard to make it out of trials, specifically because a big patch always comes 2 days before it. So it's like you can easily just have a wrong read and then you just get day one, and it doesn't matter how good you are, in my opinion. Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like Malala's set is definitely not looking too hot for him, but maybe he'll come back strong for the final cup, and then we'll see players like him and Cam back for cup number 3. Okay, let's talk about rankings real quick. And as you know, we always start off with the snub list, the players who receive votes but are not ranked. So the people that we have, these are the people on the outside looking in. And at number 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, we have Asa, Kiyun, Kurum, T-Lives, and Goobums. These are all names that you regularly see. And so that's definitely like a little bit surprising given but how close it was. The cutoff was right above Asa, actually, in the mid-30s. And then we also got votes for Greya, Reimplosion, Triple Ace, Me First Rate, Boss of Skills, or Little Top. I wasn't aware that Greya was actually playing in this cup.
Yeah, I don't think he was on the player list unless he's under a different name.
Okay, that would be surprising if that was the case. But is there any names here that is surprising, or you feel like it's just unjust, Filup? You used to be in this list all the time, man. But before you made your so-called leap,
I think like Asa is pretty good right now, and like also like Me First or Eighth. Like I feel like they're two players that I think like play a lot of like very like solid lines, at least like on ladder, and like I feel like are always like I think like Asa in particular is like a player who like in my mind has like actually like improved recently. Like
In what ways?
it's hard to say because like he doesn't stream, but like I feel like okay, how do I say this without like flaming? Like I feel like he used to take worse lines, and now I see him taking bad lines less often. You know?
I see.
Yeah, and then like I don't know, like Me First or Eighth, I'm like he won the last cup, and I mean he's like a lot of players on ladder just Giga ran it down, and like you know this guy's still like steadily climbing, like streaming, like playing like a little bit for content. So like I don't know, like have to give some like props there.
Okay. Did you vote for him? Let me see. Filup, you did vote for Me First or Eighth, and Asa, and Boss of Skills. You're the only person that voted for Boss of Skills.
I'm the only one.
Yeah, the only one.
That guy's a beast.
All right. TorontoTokyo, who do you see here that you're like, that person's underrated? That's not fair. That's not just, this guy should be top 15.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think Greya for sure, if he's playing, I think he should definitely be on the list. I think he's really good. But I think any of the top 5 players on that list could make it in the top 15. And like, I don't think it would like shock anybody. Asa, Kyun, Kurum, T-Lights, Goobums. I think they could all easily do a lot of damage in the tournament. I think it just depends on their form going in. You wouldn't be surprised.
Out of all this, you rated Kyun pretty highly, actually. You rated both Kyun and Kurum pretty highly. Any particular reason why, or was it just like a happenstance?
I genuinely think that below like for me it's like below Milk, I guess like but below the top like 5 players, I feel like in the middle of the pack is like really equal. And I think it just depends on who shows up on the day. I think anybody can, do well.
And are you in that? You actually didn't even rank yourself.
I think if I show up, if I have a good meta read, then I think I can win the tournament.
Ooh.
Okay, but do you have a good meta read?
You never know until like this. Here's the thing, but in the regionals that I did really well, I wasn't even sure if my meta read was going to be right, and it was super, super right. And when it's super right, it feels really good. So. And then you just average like a 3. But then when it's wrong, you just average a 6. So you really never know until it happens.
I feel like me and TT always have like opposite meta reads too.
Ah, that's interesting. But you guys like kind of soft prep together? I know you guys don't always like prep together, but it feels like you guys actually do still. You guys still study together, right?
Yeah, it's terrible. We just play with each other like every decision we make, and then like we leave the call together.
The group is so large. I saw you guys scrimming yesterday with also some LATAM folks like Fritz and all them. How are scrims going, by the way? Like, are you doing well? Like, you used to kind of be like a scrim sandbagger, right?
Yeah, I miss sandbagging scrims. I was like more relaxed, and I just go like 8 every day because like then there's like no expectations. I feel kind of like uneasy when scrims are going well. I had good scrims today. I had bad scrims yesterday. I don't know, like we'll see. But yeah, we brought in some like scrimming with some of the LATAM players like Fritz and like JJ. Fritz is a beast.
Okay. All right, Bryce, any commentary about any of these folks here?
I asked other people for their opinions. I was surprised that you were surprised about Asa, because when I asked Goobams about him, Goobams said, and I quote, he is dog shit. So I don't know.
Wow.
I'm disconnected.
Wow.
I have no strong opinion about these guys right now.
Holy cow. I mean, and he got twice the amount of points as Goobams, so what does that put Goobams?
Goobams thinks he is also dog shit, for the record, so it's,
True. It's sad because Goobams was telling me after set 11 Worlds how motivated he was for the sets, and like, man, I'm gonna go.
Least reliable narrator in
Can't wait to
TFT.
get
Okay, no,
home.
not actually. We've got some really, really bad ones, but this is pretty bad.
He doesn't even make the first ballot, man. Of bad narrators.
Socks can be like a auto set Hall of Famer in that category.
Half of my VIPs in chat. I will say that I want to see some of the people who are, like, I want to see like T-Lights bounce back. I think one thing that's kind of a storyline that people haven't really been talking nearly much, that T-Lights actually is focusing on TFT, I think, full time. He left his job to try to like really pursue it. And I just love watching people like pursue their dreams and try to make that happen. And there's probably going to be some obstacles in the way. Like Cup number 1 did not go well for him, I think. I think he had it was day 2. He got like a really nasty like 888 kind of day. So hopefully for this Cup, all of his hopes and dreams come true, man. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit biased coaching with him all the time.
T-Lights is winning this Cup. You heard it here first.
I hope so.
It's happening. Just lock it in.
Yeah, for sure. But I guess it does really come down to meta read, because I think it would be really interesting to see who was right, who was wrong. In the meantime, let's go ahead and cut to our top 15. So let's go ahead and find out who actually did meet the Cup. And a spicy top 15 we have, because for the very first time, I believe, we actually have a new number 1 because of other factors. Satsuka not able to participate and other things. But Wei-Jin Iverson takes the top podium spot. He's always been kind of lurking there at 2 and 3, sometimes being very close to number 1. But Wei-Jin Iverson takes the top, and I want to hear the boys who helped make that happen. Filup, what do you think?
I mean, Wei-Jin is just a beast, man. I actually ranked Wei-Jin, I think, number 2.
Oh wait, you ranked him number 2. Oh, wait a second. My bad.
This guy respects Dish Soap so much.
Oh.
Dish Soap doesn't even have to be playing. Dish Soap doesn't even have to be playing the game, and he'll still get rank 1 from Filup.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. But yeah, I mean, like, maybe it's also a little bit like, okay, like we were talking about this. Maybe it's because like I know Wei-Jin and like I don't know Dish Soap, so Dish Soap still has this like air of like mystique around him. Whereas, like, I, like, talk to Wei-Jin, like, pretty much every day. I mean, Wei-Jin is a beast. Like, he's very, like, effortlessly good at all of these lines that, like, NA doesn't play in, that we're, like, in the middle of, like, learning from, like, China. Like, Fred mentioned, like, Varus, and I think, like, Callista. I don't know. He's been whipping out all of these lines, and he looks, like, super comfortable on them already, so.
Yeah, by the way, I just realized that we have Cam's picture in Soji's slot. That's my bad.
Nice.
My bad. But yes. I do find it really interesting about some of the conversations around where people will value Dishope right now, particularly because he's trying to get back into like form, so to speak, because he's kind of taken a while off now. So a lot of people have slotted in Wei-Jin in that slot. And now that I'm looking at it, TorontoTokyo also didn't put him number 1. He put Dishope number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Wei-Jin Iverson is in better form right now, but I just felt like because I'm his friend, that it would be like bad form to put him like rank 1. I also feel like Dish Soap, like it's really hard not to give him number 1 because he won the last Worlds. You know, like if he puts in the work for this Cup, like he's definitely going to be like a top favorite for the tournament. So it's like, for me, it's like they're both just really, really elite players. So it's
also for me, it's that Dish Soap like it invented this like this 4 Scholar Rise line basically, and like before like the last Cup, like I'm pretty sure like one of like the keys to doing well in the Cup that I didn't have is like knowing like the Dish Soap like Arcana Rise line that like, I mean, like I'm sure people played it, but like I'm pretty sure like Dish Soap was like the best executor, and like half the Cup probably like watched his VOD on that. So yeah, I don't know. I have like a lot of I have some belief in him because of his. I think he's like really good at that line.
Okay, I think that's a good point. Bryce, you put Wasian number 1. Is there any particular reason why?
No, it's pretty straightforward. I felt like the conversation was like tier 1A, just so 1B Setsuko, and 1C was like Replay and Wasian back and forth.
Okay.
And yeah, pretty close call.
Okay. So Disob at number 3, is that disrespectful or what?
Is it disrespectful? I don't think so. I mean, it's literally just a question. No one doubts what dish soap is when he is a knower. The question is like, is he in form? He has nothing to play for here. So I don't think it's disrespectful to put him slightly below other elite, like world class level players that are actually like paying attention and trying close to their hardest right now.
Okay. Fair enough. We got Milk at number 4 right behind him. Spencer right there as well. So it looks like there's like a clear top 5 cut. Is it the top 5 that you were talking about, Toronto?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, to be honest, it's like Wasian, Replay, Disob, and Milk. I feel like I rate really highly. I think Spencer's also really good. But for me, I feel like below Milk, I'm not really sure. I feel like anybody can,
Okay.
It's all, yeah.
Okay. All right. Bruce kind of still staying in here at top 6. That has to just do with his ladder rankings, right? Like, just has to be the fact that Bruce is like consistently at the top. Do either of you talk to Bruce or know Bruce very well?
I don't really know him, but he's a beast on ladder, and like I mean, he did well in the first cup as well. Has like done like well historically.
Okay. All right. And then at number 7, we have Weird, who kind of makes like a huge splash because of his major rank 1 push. Weird at one point is pushing 1900 LP, and I think you really want to get that 2K. Kind of ran into a little bit of a wall and ran out of steam. But he seems like he's in really good form and like really had a good beat of the patch on his climb. And now it feels like a lot of people are ranking him very high to make another good run here. And he's also part of your group too, right, Filup?
Yeah, I think someone put it like weird is low-key like the Spencer of the group, where like he's like a beast, but like I don't know if like TFT is like always his like foremost priority, but like when it is like his priority, he has like certain lines where it's just like he's just like probably like the best on the server on him.
Everyone who rated him really highly. He was just left entirely off of 3 ballots. Gangly, Natures, and Soap did not rank him at all.
Rainplosion did rank him and put him kind of low, and TorontoTokyo put him middle of the pack. But yeah, you're right. Like almost everyone else put him very.
I ranked him lower because I thought he wasn't gonna. Like I wasn't sure if he's gonna play this cup. I heard.
What would you rank him right now if you were redoing your ballot?
I think where he is right now is actually a good spot. Like
15.
around
So
7.
you think he's?
Oh no, sorry.
Oh, where he is
7 or 8. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and TorontoTokyo actually put Weird 15th, but you okay? So you said that there was uncertainty around his participation.
I mean, it's hard because at the time he was 1800 LP for a really long time. I feel like anybody who's holding like such a large lead over the ladder, like in general, will just be favored. Yeah, most of the competitors
makes
doing
sense.
well. Yeah.
All right, Filup, you make the left-hand side the first column. I think it's your first time breaking the top 8. How do you feel, buddy?
And it feels nice to be like acknowledged. No notes on that. I don't know. It's nice.
Do you feel like this is accurate? Do you think like you should be higher, perhaps?
I think I ranked myself lower than this. I think it's sort of like, I mean, the range kind of makes sense, right? We're like below like Milk and like maybe like Spencer. It's like a bunch of people who are like doing well on ladder. So it's sort of just like the ladder snap group, right?
Okay. And now that I'm kind of looking at it, it feels like a lot of members of this group is like just represented here.
Showtime says it's over half the list. Is that true? Can you list it? Who is in the group that's on this list? Start from the top.
Wasian, Riri, Weird, me, Darth, Degree, Ripple, TT.
That's 8. That's 8 people. Wow.
Damn.
I mean, okay, but also it feels like you guys have such a big study group that it feels like it's kind of like CN having half the player list at TSI as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's more like a group of friends is how I look at it than anything.
Yeah.
It's like a giant group of friends.
Because I think
Yeah.
within this study group, there's also like smaller pockets of people who also like talk to each other a lot more. It's not like you guys have congressional hearings. Where,
Yeah, like who are the cliques? Like who are the people? What are the like subgroups within the group?
I think that's kind of hard. I mean, I guess it's like where like because we sort of like merged. Originally, I think there's like the more like JD Cord aligned people, like the Green Ripple, and then there's like the like Comp TFT people, which is like Weird and Darth, and then there's like do we have a name TT? I don't know, like me TT and like a lot of the rest like rep for like a set 9 together.
the high ceiling players.
The high ceiling.
There was like a conversation a long time ago about like how to evaluate players, and there was a term that was thrown out about like describing players as being like a low ceiling player versus a high ceiling player, and I think that ended up sticking and becoming a meme within circles. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Four of the people on our call will be representing Team Low Ceiling at Macau.
I don't even know what that means. Like, what does even low ceiling, high ceiling even mean?
It's like their peak potential. So like a low ceiling player is still like even at their best is not like a world class player or whatever. And a higher ceiling player is like maybe they're not there all the time, but their peak is actually insanely high. I think like Ripple would be a great example of a high ceiling player.
Sure, Spencer's been described as such.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure in reality it's just like if you think someone is good, but like they're not like playing that good, you just say they have a high ceiling. And then if you think someone is bad but they're playing well, you just say it's a low ceiling.
Interesting.
I mean, I'm sure that is true, like how it gets used most often, but I actually think this is a useful way of looking at players.
Oh, for sure.
I've been talking for a long time, like about part of the issue for Kerm and Robin is that they're low ceiling players. They play like a lot more consistently close to their ceiling, but I mean, I don't think this is a new comment or new information, frankly. And I don't know anyone who disagrees with that. Does anyone disagree with that?
Do you think Replay is a high or a low ceiling player, Bryce?
I would describe him as an incredibly high ceiling player.
Oh yeah, I was just wondering.
I mean, it's also tied to effort, like because like
sure.
some people said that Spencer like wasn't trying at the last reader. Like I mean, I think that he said like he wasn't preparing like that much. So it's like one of those things where like if he was preparing, then he would like he would be one of the favorites to win the tournament. But like, so it just like depends on. It's one of those things where like if people are like 100% locked in and you really don't know whether they're going to be locked in, but if they are, then they'll be like favorites. But if they're not for whatever reason, then yeah.
I will say one thing. I think people get overly enamored by the idea of a high ceiling, though, because in reality, TFT is a competition. And a lot of times, if you're just not getting the results, I don't care what your ceiling is. There's a lot of players that walk in through potential in any game, and they just never live up to it. So at a certain point, we can talk about all the theoreticals of what could be good about a player versus a player that gets results, which is why I don't believe in ceilings in TFT. I just don't. I actually have
a point that I have a point that I need to say about this because I think like TFT is a game that's really correlated with luck, right? So we don't like take results as much as we should. But if you ask like the average NBA player, like who's the best NBA player right now, a surprisingly large amount of them will say like Kyrie Irving. I know a lot of people don't follow basketball, but it's basically like because that guy can do stuff that a lot of NBA players can't do. But if you ask like society, who's the best basketball player, it's just whoever wins the most, right? Because that's what most fans of a competitive sport care about is who wins the most, and that's all that matters. Like literally, it doesn't matter what excuse you have for not winning. But like in TFT, it's kind of like, well, I just like I've seen this guy play, and I think he's really good. So like he's just better than the guy who actually does like really well results wise.
Yeah,
which I feel like is kind of backwards. Because like yeah. So like I genuinely don't think there's as much luck as people think there is. Like people like Wage and Everson, Dish Soap, Replay, they always do well. Like their AVPs at like 3.9, it's like indisputable. You know what I mean? But it's like it's just I feel like you just take your AVP over like a large sample size. I feel like that's just how good you are as a player, and any other narrative is just like, is just like fraudulent in my opinion.
Well, I kind of wish Asa was here because he's so vocal on the other side of this. And what he would basically tell you is that even if you look at the total tournaments of the last 5 sets, it's still an extremely small sample relative to the variance of the game and like what you can reasonably expect in terms of swings.
Yeah. I mean, I agree that if we were being like scientific about it, that like you could literally include all this within the bounds of variance. It's just that at some point we have to start evaluating people by what they do and not what we think they can do. I don't know what number that is. Yeah. I'm reiterating that.
Yeah. Well said.
You're just like...
Dan and I beat this drum for so many years on the show. I feel like slowly but surely TFT opinion has like crept in this direction. But for a long time, people were like, ladder is all that matters. And we were like,
well, ladder was all the sample size we really had, Bryce, for like a long time. And then we had like 3 regionals, and then we started doing this power ranking. So it's like,
for sure,
we had set 4 regionals, set 5 regionals, and set 6 regionals. And then we started like, I mean, we even do this. We did this before set 6 regionals. So I understand completely why that sentiment was what it did, but now it's like 3 years later, man, and there's almost no excuses. There's some people who have never put results up, and they're not ranked anymore. There was a bunch of people who we lived off potential, and that's it. Okay, let's very quickly go over some of the other names. Darth, Degree, Robin, Soju, Preston, Ripple, and TorontoTokyo. You're 15th. You made the list. Apparently, you squeezed out Asa by a single point. You can thank all of us for that. All of us ranked you. Bryce, you ranked him really high, actually. Bryce, you put him 7th.
Yeah, I think he's good, and I judge his form off of like what I see in the Discord, basically.
I see. Okay.
It's a proxy way of doing it, but yeah.
Okay. I'm happy Darth is rated really high. I think he's been a consistent top 5 ladder player, sometimes even hitting rank 1. I think the set actually clicked well with him too, because I do think that his propensity to like reroll and evaluate the charms that he's encountering is actually really good for him. What is it about Degree that seems to get people really high on him, Filup?
I mean, he's just really good. He's really smart. I mean, like everybody says like Darth Thumb is like the TFT calculator guy, which he like kind of is, but Darth Thumb will just tell you like, oh, I don't know, just look at the stats. But Degree will be like I was talking to Degree last set about like invoker intervals, and he was just like doing like, oh, at like X attack speed with like X invoker, like your third cast is like a little bit delayed or it's like off interval, but like if you take into account like Lilia cast time, it's like a little bit, and like I didn't process a single thing, but that guy's hella smart. Yeah.
I see.
Filup, would you describe him as both smart and handsome?
Yes, for sure.
Interesting. Is Degree single?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
That explains it.
Unlucky.
Okay. Well, sorry to all the people who are interested. Robin at number 11, Soju and Precevin. I think there's a lot of people who just doubt all 3 of these players now at this point. For Soju, running it down. Precevin ran it down to almost Grandmasters, by the way, on ladder. He was like literally rank 1 at one point. Ran down like 1100 LP in a few days. It was pretty brutal.
He got tonight just to riot, basically. He was just like, when was this list done? Who the fuck is ranking Soju and Precevin?
When P-God hit rank 1, like 1700, like TT and I were arguing about the meta, because TT, just to like expose him really quick, like a week in, always just comes to the conclusion it's a reroll meta, and he saw P-God playing a lot of reroll, and he's like, look, like P-God did it, he has to be right. And like I love P-God, but like I've never laughed harder as he just went straight to 3 digits, and I just like kept copy and pasting like TT's message of like Precevin, like 80% of your games are supposed to be rerolled to back to him.
I don't know what happened. I've never seen anybody go from like 1,000 to 1,700 back to 600 in the course of like season. It's actually like it's actually never before been done. So yeah,
impressive, P-God.
All right. Last thing I would say, TorontoTokyo, you rated Soju 5th. What's up with that?
Okay, this is the thing. I believe in Soju so much, and I know I think he's not going to stream this tournament. And I genuinely believe if Soju is locked in, like he is a top 5 NA player. Like no cap. The problem is when you watch him stream, he is playing for so much content, it's not even funny. Like, he'll just randomly click like Conjure Emblem when he has 20 gold, and then he'll just go wait. I played a game where he was playing mages and he just had a warrior emblem because he conjured an emblem for no reason. So yeah, it was just But when he's locked in, he's really good. Like, I'm 100% sure of that.
Okay. Here's the ballots, by the way, just because we want to be held accountable to it, of people who did get the votes and people who didn't. So anything else? Oh, I do want to point out, Robin voted himself at rank 1, which I think is...
He's done that every ballot for a little while now. At some point in time, I think it was Replay did it, and Robin was looking at ballots on the stream and was like, Replay always does this, and I feel like he always tops 8 every tournament. Maybe this is the replay tech. I'm just going to start rating myself 1 from here on out, and he just has never looked back.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. Robin didn't even rank Distop. I think he didn't think Distop was playing.
Yeah,
which honestly is, I mean, it looked, even if Distop got the 15 points, for example, it looked like he would have been just a
Googums as well. So if both of them,
right, and that could have probably that very likely would have been a pretty big difference of potentially getting the 1, 2, 3.
I mean, he could have been rank 1. Honestly, like it could be 30 points.
I think that's probably you know what, that's on Distop. He didn't communicate very clearly that he's going to be playing in the Cup, so I think maybe these guys didn't know. And then I will say that it looks like I thought I was the only person that ranked Milk number 1. I think that was going to be like my hot take of the tournament. But Nature's actually came in this morning as like almost the last ballot and also ranked Milk number 1. It looks like only us two are the true milkers, because I think that no one else is ranked Milk number 1, right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
I actually think Milk has the Giga read, and I think that I have a lot of faith in him. We'll see, though. Okay, the thing was, I thought he had to read when I submitted this ballot, and then yesterday he did this whole classic, like, I'm going dead last, I don't know anything.
Yeah, but that's never listen to that. Although he's in chat currently saying, bro, no, I don't.
Yeah, and that usually means he's like top 5 minimum in the tournament. So,
yeah.
All right. With that being said, I think any final comments? Otherwise, we should get ready for the fantasy draft.
Agree tonight or no?
Oh, right. The agree section. I don't have that many actually.
It's fine. I mean, totally up to you. It's fine.
There is one. Okay, let's go ahead and go into the agree. I have 2. So here's agree number 1, which is the ladder snapshot system needs to be reworked because everyone is just sitting now, which makes ranked less exciting and more boring. This is something that's been brought up because there is just copious amount of nothing happening on ladder. Is that an agree? What do we think, TorontoTokyo?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what they could really do though. So, but I will agree. I don't think it's a good system right now. I think it promotes like not playing the game. Basically, is the issue.
Okay. So the problem that we're encountering is that there isn't a solution that's at hand. Okay. Filup, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've never sat before. The sitting is kind of fun. It's hella relaxing. But like I agree, it's probably like it's a little boring, just like not playing. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any suggestions? Because it seems like everyone's in an overwhelming agree right now.
I'm not smart enough to figure that out. That's way above my pay grade.
Okay. If let's say they took away all ladder snapshots for regionals and just made you guys go through tournaments, ladder snapshots now only qualify you for the cups. What do you think about that?
Oh, I mean, I genuinely feel like because the TFT circuit, we have such a large sample size that I don't even think it would be that bad to have almost all of the slots be from QP. Because at the end of the day, like ladder is, it's not really like a tournament environment at all. There's like no pressure. So I feel like the slots value matter more from QP than they do from ladder.
I mean,
I'll kind of vouch.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'll kind of vouch for like the ladder spots just in that like, I mean, like Dishsoap almost missed regionals or like would have missed regionals if it wasn't for ladder snaps one of like the previous sets, right? Which is like where we got the coffee pasta. And I mean, like the competitive circuit just takes like so much time right now as well, right? Like, I mean, like players like Darthnub, I think like don't have the time or don't want to like put in the time, or even like Weird. I mean, I don't think Weird, is in like a spot to be playing for ladder snaps this set just because he hasn't really been active on ladder, but like that kind of player who he's dropping out of this cup by the way because he's just too busy with school. Like there's too many real life obligations to like play these tournaments on like Fridays. And to give opportunities to like those kinds of players, I feel like it's important.
Just to clarify, by the way, Dishdope has always been able to make it through the effective, whatever is the equivalent of qualifier points. But we did get a legendary pasta from that tournament. You are right.
Oh, sorry. I just remember that pasta.
we did get a I think you're remembering the pasta. That's what it is.
Philip didn't say he hadn't. He said it was close one time. That's all.
Oh, I see. Well, either way, I do think that it feels like a little bit strange that you could like cheese, and we can have so many players that you almost like don't see. Like the idea that you could actually never see a player and they just show up at regional finals because they got in through snapshot only is like wild to me. I do think that it is a way to smooth out the variance curve of it, but we give out like a lot of slots. And it's entirely possible that someone just like never shows up to the tournament. I mean, that's not going to happen, but I do think that kind of that's not exactly the way that I would say is like a holistic, healthy ecosystem, personal. But I do agree that we should restructure this.
So, yeah, I mean, this is like a hard agree from me. I think that it's a huge miss. I don't think it's correct to pull a value away from ladder snapshots. I agree with the take related to certain types of people that are like timing wise, it gives them a lot more flexibility over their schedule. It's also higher sample size. Like I think there's a lot of value to having ladder snapshots. I think we have to like try to make snapshots good, make it interesting. I think that Riot should do prizing for the ladder, basically turn ladder into a mini tournament, do prizing for certain placements at the top levels to incentivize top people to be playing more. And then I think they should dramatically overhaul the amount of games you're required to play in a given snapshot period. I think it should be way more. If you're going to opt into this experience, then part of it is higher volume. And I think that we need to get people playing. It would be really interesting to follow these snapshots, like for you to do a snapshot watch party, Dan. If you actually had everybody watching and playing, I think it would be phenomenal TFT content. So I think Riot has extreme incentives to fix this, and I really hope they do.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue is I don't think they have a system that either looks good or feels good or either. So the problem is I think we can identify the pain points. I don't think anyone has an actual solution. Either way, looks like chat overwhelmingly agrees, 84%. And that was the only one that I wrote down because some of the other ones, I have two others, but we kind of tackled it throughout the show. So I figured we could just go straight into fantasy and go ahead and put that into bed. So with that, let's go ahead and get to our fantasy draft. For anyone who has never seen it before, the rules are that you'll be drafting 6 players per team. You have $150. You have to spend at least $1 per player. And when you put a player up for bid, it continues until the player until people stop, and then that amount is deducted from your budget. We have the entire competitor list on the left-hand side. Do you guys have a list of the competitors? Do you need me to screenshot this for you?
I say it on the stream. It's fine.
Okay, great. So with that being said, I'm going to roll a die, and Bryce is up first.
Wasian for 50.
51.
Wasian Iverson for 51 right now.
55.
60.
61.
62.
65.
68.
70.
72.
75.
76.
80.
Holy cow.
You got him that.
80. 80 on Wasian Iverson going once. Going twice. All right. Wasian Iverson. Holy cow. $80. My God. Okay. Tokyo spent $80 is not what I was expecting to start things off. All right.
What a beast. Toronto, how high would you have gone?
I feel like 80 is a good number, actually. I feel like that's...
Dude, don't we have to collude a little bit, man? Like, we're just bidding each other up. These guys are just sitting here smiling.
Didn't I bid like 77 here or something? Like I don't know. I wasn't there till the end.
All right, Filup, you're up next to bid.
Replay for 40,
50.
55.
60.
How much money do you have, man?
He's all in.
61?
He can go 67, I think.
62.
No, you can go 66.
63?
66. Yeah, he has
64.
4 here.
65?
6.
66.
No, I already bid
67?
Oh,
Now-
he wiped you out. He wiped you out. Okay, 66.
67?
68.
70?
71.
75?
Holy. 75.
He's yours.
Yeah, great. I spent $75 on a replay, man.
Toronto
He's a beast.
replay, $75.
What are we doing, man?
All right. TorontoTokyo, you can bid next.
All right, I'll go dish soap for 50.
51.
60.
55. Oh,
61.
62.
63.
64.
65.
66.
67.
Yeah, I realize I don't have that much money left.
I mean, you just all in that boy. You go 70.
Yeah, that's all you. That's all you. 69. I drew a lot of 67. Sorry.
68.
69. My buddy Dish Soap. My buddy and business partner.
70.
70. 71. Bro, it's a 4-cost meta.
72.
73.
74.
75. 75 for Dish Soap. $75 for Dish Soap. Going once. Only Bryce can bid on it. Going twice.
You can have him.
Okay. All right. I got Dish Soap at equivocal value to replay. All right. I bid next. I will go for... Oh, this is an interesting spot, actually. I'll bid on Filup for 25.
I need to save my money though. No.
I bid on Filup.
You would know you're going to have to get yourself at some point.
26.
27.
What? Oh. 28.
Philip, welcome to the top 8, buddy. You're expensive now.
29.
Yeah, that's all you, big man.
You can have yourself for 30.
Vitality milk ain't cheap. Nice try.
Filup, for 29, you're going to let me have you?
Yes, man. I
Going
need
once?
money I need money.
Going twice? You're not going to outbid Bryce anyways. All right. Sold to me. I got Filup for 29.
Boom.
Assuming he is top 8 in value, I think that's pretty great. All right, Bryce.
All good. Ladder snaps are good.
All right.
I put up T-Lides for $1.
T-Lides for $1.
Well, I actually need T-Lights to be part of my dollar team. Oh no, I can't afford $2 with how my budget's going.
What?
Oh god.
T-Lides for $1 going once.
Like, I want T-Lights too, but I'm in the
Going
same
twice.
I'm actually so broke.
Nobody over $1.
Bryce gets T lines for $1.
I'm just throwing this
Oh
out
my
there,
God.
okay? I would have paid a lot more money for him. I genuinely think he's going to win this tournament, and I'm going to call that the bid of fantasy history. I mean, we're going to look back on that one and say me bidding him there was really smart because I thought
No,
that's gonna pay for
actually,
it.
I believe I have both. I believe that both these guys. That's disrespectful. I believe both Toronto, and Filup have been $1 giga crazy value.
It's really
Toronto
clear you guys
literally
all
like
have your
once
eyes on-
won me a fantasy draft.
Yeah,
for
you guys have
$1.
your eyes on other people, so I just felt like I could get him as a steal here. That worked out great.
Yeah.
That's a good play. That's a good play for sure.
All right, Filup, you're up next.
Wait, it's me?
Yeah.
Fritz for $1.
Who?
Fritz. ISG Fritz.
For $1. $2. For ISG Fritz. $2.
We know Philip's going to bid. Philip literally called him a beast.
Going
earlier.
once.
He's just pretending like he's not going to.
Going
I'm at the
twice.
dollar store. I'm at the dollar store. Okay, so if it's not at the dollar store, I'm sorry, Fritz.
Fritz goes
What
for
the-
$2. All right. Okay, I actually thought you were going to bid up a little bit more. Okay.
I'm not sure Dan wanted Philip or Fritz on his team. Dan's just in a spicy mood.
Wait, what? I'm not. I'm literally trying to I'm okay. Filup and Fritz. It's Team F. Team Frodan.
Team F.
Big F. That's the team.
F's in the chat for Dan's fantasy team.
I mean,
Whoa,
me and
that is
Fritz are buddies.
disrespectful, Bryce.
We used to say I'm a little legend.
All right, TorontoTokyo. Who you got next?
Let's do Babzera for $1.
GK Babzera. GK Babzera. Where is he? There he is. Babzera for $1. Going once. Going twice? Nobody wants Babzera for $1.
I think I just won the draft. By the way, I think it's over. I think it's over.
All right. Okay, I mean, like you might.
This is Disneyland fantasy drafting. I just won the draft. It's over. It's actually
Bro,
over.
he doesn't understand that he actually has to have a roster of 6 people. But okay.
No, he just needs these two. They're that good.
I will bet Presteven for $1.
Ooh, I like that we're getting into the $1 mix in the middle of the draft. This is
busted $80 bet to start things
this
off.
is
We
different.
blew
This
the
is a
budget.
very different cadence that I'm used to.
Presteven for $1. Going once.
Oh God, wait. There's no way
Going
President for
twice.
one. Oh God. Oh
So
God. This is so wrong.
sweet.
This is actually so wrong.
I bet you
Wait, that might be a steal. You guys are
Oh,
honestly
God.
just so rude.
Wait.
How could you guys?
I bid.
Wait.
I bid too.
Oh, okay. I mean, $3, I guess.
$4.
$5. $5 for Presteven.
I'm
Going once. You bid?
I'm good.
Okay. Sold to me. Okay, $1, $5, no diff. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
honestly
mostly true.
disrespectful. That is honestly disrespectful. All right. Bryce, you're up next. And you honestly can buy anybody you want if you want here, but
I know.
Bryce just
Spin-
looked up his long
spin-
distance and said, I'm good.
Spin- That's exactly what happened, by the way.
Oh,
Spencer for $1.
$2.
38.
$3.
That's not
Guys, I said 38.
man.
Oh, 38?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fuck. Dude. Oh no.
For Spencer. This
Yeah, I'll go 39. I'll go 39. Sorry, 39.
I'm out. 39 for Spencer.
40.
Okay. 40. 40 on Spencer.
How much money do I have left?
You have 75. You can
Oh, I only have 3 replay. 41.
41 on Spencer from Filup. 41 on Spencer, going once.
42.
Okay, Bryce.
I'm out.
Bryce is out, or Filup is out. Bryce gets Spencer for 42. TorontoTokyo. Going once, going twice. All right, Spencer for 42, I believe.
Man, my team is going to be so good.
All right, who bid on Spencer? Was it Filup?
Oh yeah, is it that person who like put in like the second to last bit?
Okay, Toronto.
No,
you're up
the
next.
last is who put him up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
TorontoTokyo, you are up next.
Okay, let's go. Oh, this is hard. Let's go Soju for $1.
I like that, actually. I think that's a good one. Soju for $1. Where is he, man? Where is he? Wait, I can't find him. All right, well, I'm just going to put K3 Soju. Oh, K3 Soju for $1 going once. Going twice. Sold to
$2.
Okay.
$2.
$2 price.
Okay, I'll go 3.
$40.
I gotta let him go.
Sweet.
Sorry, what was it?
I got him for 4.
Okay, Bryce took Soju for $4. Okay. I'm next. I'm next. Oh, actually, I think I know what to do here. I max bid milk 38 here.
39.
Sorry, 71. Milk's on the board, right? 71.
Yeah. 71. Okay. Milk 71.
That's it.
72. Oh, I can't. Oh, is that?
No,
That's
no,
why
no,
it's my
you
How-
can't bid 72.
We need 6.
Yeah, you have to be able to. Yeah,
It's
6
$1
people.
on each player.
Oh, okay.
You would have
71
bid
was your
whatever you
max.
couldn't have.
71 was your max bid.
Okay. I was saying, man, you need to grab Filup. You're not getting milk anyways, man. All right. Filup, you're up. Or Bryce up next for bid. Bro, you just have to squat. You have Spencer Sochu
I
milk.
do.
Holy cow.
I'll put up Bruce for $1.
$2.
$3.
$4.
Bro, you're the richest guy in the draft, and you're just spending $4, $5.
My milk budget just opened up. $6.
$7.
9.
Oh shit, he jumped.
10.
He means business.
12.
15. I mean, I'm at 39. It's fine.
20.
21.
25.
26.
28.
29.
30.
31.
32.
Damn.
32 for Bruce. 33.
37.
Oh, well, I guess just 38. You could have just, yeah. Are you going to let me have her 38 then?
No, sorry, I picked that number arbitrarily.
Okay.
I might. You never know. You gotta try to see.
38.
Yeah, 39. Jeez.
All right, I'm out. Toronto, do you want in on Bruce?
All right, I'm good.
Going once, going twice. Sold. Bruce Lull for 39. All right. Filup, you bid next.
Give me TT for those 5.
Toronto Q for $5.
You don't want Philip to be a 6x TorontoTokyo, do you, bro?
I really don't. But I mean, isn't anything more than 1 just too expensive for like
6x, bro?
You're on the
5?
top 15,
You think you're
man.
sick, man?
You're on the top 15. There's no way. $5 sounds actually low for you.
Okay, I gotta let myself go.
You can bid, man. I'll go higher.
All right. TorontoTokyo for $5 to Philip. All right. Connor, you're up next.
I mean, now for me, it's a win-win. Like, even if I do bad in the tournament, at least I agree, Philip.
Oh
It's
my
a win-win.
God.
Even if TorontoTokyo does bad for my fantasy draft, at least he did bad in the tournament. No, I'll laugh at him.
All right.
All right.
TorontoTokyo, you actually can, just to point out the observation, you can buy anybody you want here if you want.
I'm trying to think of who the best player left in the draft is. I guess we'll leave that for later. I'll take Eagle for 1.
Ego Illusions for $1. This guy's trying to go for the value foreign bets. Ego Illusions, $1.
$2.
$2 from Bryce.
Okay, actually, I'll bet $3.
$4.
$4 for Ego.
$5.
6.
10.
11.
Oh my God, he's gonna drain the bank, is he?
Hedge fund mode.
15.
16.
Oh my God, why do you do this?
17.
Please.
Oh,
Nice. Philip in
What
there.
is going on?
Yes.
Please.
17.
Wait, 17 for Ego? That's hella good.
Actually,
Yeah,
it's so funny because
I
all
wasn't
three
paying
of our
attention.
positions are pretty similar, so we can actually just pressure TorontoTokyo.
18.
19. Fuck it. 19.
Of course. 20. I'm getting robbed.
21.
You have too
Is
much
it my
money,
turn?
man.
We're just bidding in
You
a
have too
cyclical
much
order. So it's
money.
Toronto bids, and then then it's Philip, and then Toronto again, and it's Dan, and then it's back to me. Okay. 21.
Okay. 21 for Ego Illusions.
Happily.
Going once. Going twice. Sold
Nice.
Bryce. Sold
Toronto's
Bryce.
saving his money for next draft. It's you guys, his
21.
next draft, he's econing so well. His next draft
yeah.
is fucking insane.
We actually lost.
Okay. This is... Oh, man. My spot is really weird now.
How did I let Soju go for $4? Oh God,
I have no idea.
I'm actually so bad. I need a Soju on my team. Oh God.
I'm going to
Actually-
go with... Ooh. Okay. I'm going to go with... Michael for $1.
11.
12.
13 for Michael.
15.
16.
17.
18.
19.
20.
22.
24.
26.
28.
30.
31.
32.
It's almost like Tokyo just realized that he has to have players on his fantasy team.
He said he won the draft with the 2 players.
I only need
And then he stopped. He was like,
I guess.
I'm
Okay,
good.
this right here, I might as well use max bet then. 38.
All right, 39.
Okay. Michael for the TorontoTokyo. 39. All right, Bryce.
Weird for 11.
12.
Is it?
Assuming
that
he's
guy's not
playing,
playing.
by the way. Is he playing? Hold on.
I don't think he's gonna play.
Oh, is he actually not playing?
I think-
Because this happened to me.
I said he wasn't playing.
This
Okay,
happened to me
yeah,
with
hopefully.
DP. DP actually dropped in the tournament, and he actually was doing really well, which is a huge bummer. But okay, so Weird's not playing.
Darth for 11.
That guy's also not playing.
Oh, is he not?
No, he was.
He said he was? Okay, I don't know.
Wait, is he not? If he's not, then I don't want to put him up.
I am not. I was under the impression he wasn't, but I'm not 100% on that. So
In chat, can
is he here?
That's
He was here. But if he's not, then we just move on.
I'll just put someone else up while we're waiting to find out. I will put up Robin for 11.
Robin for 11.
Sick.
Anybody want to challenge him? Robin going once, going twice. Rice gets Robin for $11.
Dude, my team is nuts.
All right.
I just looked at Bryce's team. That's actually a Nazi team.
My team is
pretty
insane.
nasty.
They were really good at TFT 3 years ago, and I'm pretty sure they're still good at TFT now.
Okay. Filup, you're up next.
Full overdrive for 11,
12. Why'd you play 11?
13,
14.
15,
16.
18,
18.
That's a high ceiling player.
The high ceiling player. It is true. It is true. Also, let me cross out Ripple here. 18.
Ripple says that's too high, Filup.
Oh, man. This position's so interesting because now I'm in the driver's seat. 18. I guess I'm going to count myself down. Going once. Going twice. Okay. Ripple for 18.
Oh, Darth is confirmed playing.
Oh,
Good.
I see. All right. TorontoTokyo, you're up next.
All right, I was actually no cap doing some research. Let's do degree for 1.
2,
5,
6.
7,
What's my max bet here?
12.
8,
9,
11.
12,
12.
No, too late. He missed it.
13.
14,
Oh, dude, Philip being at 13 is actually so bad. Oh, God. Okay, 15, 15,
16,
17,
18,
19. 19 for degree.
20,
Okay, so if I let them, that means I get to pick the last two. 20 for degree. Going once. Going twice. Okay. I'm gonna let degree go here for 20.
Okay, my team is looking kind of stacked as well. If you know, you know. That's all I'm
I
gonna
mean, your team is very stacked. I agree.
I mean, I'm just gonna take Darth here for 13.
I think it's actually. I think I got Baptista for too cheap. Like,
Makes sense.
really too good.
Sort of, but there's always gonna be that when
Bro,
after like
that's
a
one
big
for a
void.
dollar.
Okay, so then Philip, you bid here. You can actually
Yeah, $1 on Bosso skills.
$1 on Basso skills.
I like this. The only person who ranked him on their ballot, Philip
I
should have
see.
Basso skills. He's putting his money where his mouth is.
I see. I'm out. But TorontoTokyo Basso skills for $1.
I mean, you can for sure bid him up. What's the worst thing that happens? You went with Basso skills on your team?
Okay, 2. Yeah, you're right.
3,
Oh, you're right. I could have.
that's all they'll go, bro? You're out.
How about?
Okay, Basso skills for $3. TorontoTokyo.
Okay, let's go. Vicious for $1.
Whoa, I don't even know who you're talking about. Vicious?
It's VICI, of course.
Oh, LATAM for $1?
Yeah, for $1.
Oh, dude, I don't know enough about Vicious, so I'm gonna let that slide, Philip.
Yeah, $2.
Oh, bid on Vicious.
$3.
Yeah, I don't actually know who that is, but TD bid, so like I'm out.
You're out? Okay. Vicious for $3. Okay, so then I get the last choice here for $10. Yeah, $10. Oh man. Okay. Let's see. Between these guys and do I want to take a little bit of a risk? Okay, I'm gonna go with my gut instinct here and take a little bit of a blind shot. I'm gonna go with Goobums.
Holy.
Yeah. I think Goobums is actually low-key kind of a fantasy monster, but
I love it.
all right, Philip.
Can I take a relic for 10?
Yep, you can. And then I mean technically it's 7, but yeah, you can take it.
Yeah, you get 7.
Oh, how are we gonna...
The budget left over is trash talk.
Yeah,
so it's
and then
it's
TorontoTokyo, you bid like $3. I guess $1 on whoever you want.
Okay.
I can also list some power rank people if you or like Kiyun, Asa, Kurum are some of the highest vote getters who haven't gotten picked up.
And Kurum, Q, Asa, those are some pretty good people.
Pretty good people.
Showtime?
Showtime.
Ramkev.
Rankev. All right, I'll pick up Kurum. Kurum for 1.
All right. I mean, that's Kurum for 1 is also potentially steal, and depending on what it is. Okay, and then we have the bonus questions. So the first one, we'll start off with TorontoTokyo. Will someone power rank finish in the top 4? It's a yes/no question. These are
somebody
kickers.
power ranked like in the top 15?
Top 15, yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Philip?
Yeah.
Bryce?
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with no then to be good to go against it. All right. Philip, you're up next to answer this. What is the best performing 4 cost in AVP this tournament? Straight AVP. Nothing, no context.
Wait. That's 4 costed. Okay, hold on. Let me look at some stats.
Tarek. TorontoTokyo. Callista. I'm going to go with Varus. Bryce.
I was also going to say Varus.
Okay. All right. Bryce, you're up next.
Torik. Wait, what?
Will
Are you kidding me?
Will a player rage post about this format of anything in TST tournament?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to go with no and hope that they figured it out, Philip.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll do it. Fuck it.
Like, so anyone can post like a Twitter thing and it counts as like a raid post, or
Yes.
Like basically
Like, what
the
context
format,
like complaining
single
about?
thing.
I mean, it's going to be obvious. You're going to know when you see it.
Okay,
Okay.
if someone says like I got tie bugged and missed, format sucks, does that count?
No. It's more about the whole like it's the same conversation we've been having for a while.
Yeah. So many games,
It's
no
very
money.
I mean, yeah. What am I asking? Yeah. The answer is like, yeah. Okay,
yeah, right? Exactly. Like,
I feel like Soju will definitely tweet something. I'm gonna go yes.
No, because Soju's going to win. No, T-Lat's
yeah.
going to win. Soju's going to finish second, so he's very unlikely to complain.
All right.
I feel like he might go first and still complain anyways.
Okay, and perhaps the most important question: who does better in a 2v2 heads up when we combine our points? Frodan and Bryce, or Philip and TorontoTokyo? Bryce, you go first.
Oh, God, Dan, I think my team is so good, but I think your team is so bad.
So who are you taking?
I'm taking us, baby. What do you mean? Who am I taking? Fuck yeah, I'm betting on us.
You're taking Frodan. I was going to write FB. All right, Philip, who are you taking?
Taking us. All right, team
FB.
TorontoTokyo, Philip.
All right, TorontoTokyo.
Same.
All right. Bryce, I'm taking their team. I think my team's
You're a coward. I'll hold it down for us, Dan.
I think I have too many X factors.
I have 6 of the top 8, Dan. It's fine. We're chilling.
But I mean, that's the way you can make up a lot of kickers. So
I got T-Lides for $1. I got off-stream Soju for $4, and he's kind of pissed too.
I mean,
Milk's a beast.
Oh,
why don't undervalued? My team is really good.
Why don't I pick Eric, man?
Soju for $4, like no cap.
Off-stream Soju.
Off-stream Soju is like
is
it's actually over.
If he's actually sweating and prepping, which he is, should be unlawful. That's insane.
Is he? Let me see. Is Soju actually prepping?
He is 3 digits right now.
I don't see it being called.
He is.
Yeah. All right. Well, Chad seems to think Bryce has the best team by a big margin. So
let's go,
see.
chat.
All right, Filup, what do you think, man? You're trash talking about so much of our fantasy draft skills.
Okay, like the thing is, I just like didn't understand like the economy. Like, isn't this legit a never before seen economy of like for like $80 players?
Listen,
like,
Filup, man,
how is that possible?
some people can play on the big stage, and then other people just choke under the pressure. There's bright lights here, buddy. It's okay. You'll be back for another one of these.
I won anyways, but it's all good.
Fantasy drafting is like hard to do, especially like
it is. The reality is, it's a different meta every single time because the guests change and the guests don't have enough experience, so it's a complete curveball a lot of the time. Like, this was way different.
It's very different than when we drafted last time against Showtime and Bosso Skills. That was an interesting draft as well.
Yeah, I'm sad I missed that one.
Yeah. Gangly just wiped the floor with all of us, man.
Yeah, let's go, Gangly.
Yeah. All right. Okay, well, that brings us to the end of this episode. I'll be co-streaming this weekend. That's the main announcement. Hope you guys tune in for that. Let's go ahead and get some final words. TorontoTokyo, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, I just want to say, as always, really fun. Thanks for having me. And I felt like we had a really productive discussion overall. It was really fun.
Yeah, not usually something I would use the descriptor for this show, but I agree. It was a
there's a lot of substance, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. Agreed. Filup.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Thanks for having me. It's fun being on with TT as well.
Awesome.
No regrets about the draft.
No notes.
Everyone always does that. Everyone always does. It's always like people come and be like, because when you're watching on the stream, you can kind of see the picture. You have time to think during other people's turns that you're not interested in, and then all of a sudden it kind of hits. So it's really funny. It's actually similar to TFT in that regard. All right, Bryce.
I had a blast. I came in super tired. This show always lifts me up. I had so much fun. I missed everybody. It was good to be back. Yeah, this was awesome. Like, I hope everyone plays well this weekend. I'm missing because of TwitchCon that basically all of my travel has like perfectly overlapped the cups so far. It's been really, really sad because I've been around in general, just not when the cups are on. But
no problem.
Excited to get back, and I'll watch as much of it as I can while I'm gone.
All right. Well, that's it from us. If you missed any part of this episode, check out our stuff at youtube.com/@DTIYDK. Also, if you want updates, x.com/DTIYDK show. And, if I want to find more power rankings and things like that, we're going to try to make a more concerted effort to try to be more active, just because it's been really hard with all the stuff juggling. But it's been really fun. Thank you so much for watching. From Frodan, Bryce, Filup, and TorontoTokyo, thanks for watching this episode of Don't Talk, You Don't Know. And we'll see you next time for more TFT action. Have a good night.